Okay, so let's look at this is going to be number 16 on page 975. It looks like this. You have y to the fourth minus 3y squared minus 70. Now, all the problems you've done, if you go back and look at them, they were quadratic. The leading term was y squared. Now we have a y to the fourth. But it's still a trinomial, and I can still factor this using the idea of reverse FOIL. So no big deal, I can still use that idea. So first of all, what is the GCF though? So you have to look for the GCF. GCF is 1. So I'm going to, since it's a trinomial, I'm going to try factoring this as two binomials. FOIL. So let's do the F first. Give me two factors whose product is y to the fourth, y squared. Y squared times y squared. In fact, you need y squared because what's that middle term? What variable do you see? Y squared. All right, and so the only way you can get a y squared is if this outer and inner has a y squared in it. All right, now let's talk about the last term. The last term is negative 70, but we're going to look at the 70 for a moment. So I want two numbers whose product is 70. So give me some pairs. 10, 7. What are some others? 35 and 2. 5 and 21, right? And so on. So you want to try, though. It doesn't always work. We saw that last class period. But many times you want to try the numbers close together in the number line. So which one do you want to try first? 10 and 7. So put the 10 here, 7 here. If that doesn't work, I'm going to switch them. The last sign is negative, though. So that means that one is negative, the other one is positive. Now let's do this first to determine which one it is. What is the outer for right now? 7y squared. What's the inner? The larger of these coefficients takes that middle sign. So which one's going to be negative? 10, and this has to be positive. And if you add them up, do I get that negative 3y squared? Yes. So that means that this sign right here is going to be what? Negative, and this sign is going to be positive. So there's my answer. So the answer is y squared minus 10 times y squared plus 7. Now, one of the worksheets, it's going to ask you to check by foiling. It's going to tell you what I want by that. So you're going to check. So you're just going to FOIL it out. So you're going to say y squared times y squared is what? Right, the fourth. What's the outer? 7y squared. What's the inner? And what's the last? And when you add them up, what do you get? Minus 3y squared minus 7. Okay, so that's your checking. You just check your answer using the FOIL method. Okay, and that's one of the worksheets you had to do. That you turned in the first worksheet. Okay. All right. Let's look at. Let's see. Okay, so let's look at 66. You have negative x squared plus 8x minus 7. Negative x squared plus 8x minus 7. And the directions say to factor out the negative 1 first. So let's factor out the negative 1. So when I factor out the negative 1, what do I get? X squared. Come on, guys. Minus 8x plus 7. Okay? Now, is that the answer? No, you got to try and factor this trinomial. And it is quadratic. So you can do the two binomials. What times what's x squared? X and x. X and x, right? The last term is prime, so that's easy. There's only two possibilities. Well, actually, one possibility. 1 and 7. Let's put the 1 here, 7 here. Last sign's positive, means both of these signs are the same, and they're both what? Negative. So there's your answer there. But don't put that in the blank. What goes in the blank? Times x minus 1, x minus 7. So I think there's one of the worksheets, it was the very last one that looked like that. Okay, number 32. All right, here's 32. Okay, 32, you have x to the 4th minus 5x squared minus 14. X to the 4th minus 5x squared minus 14. What's the LCD? 1. You have a trinomial. Now, if this were 4 terms, what would you try? Grouping. Okay. It's a trinomial, so you're going to do the trial and error, the 2 binomials. All right. FYL. What's going to be your 2 F's?
X squared.
X squared. Okay. And it kind of makes sense because my middle term has an x squared. Okay, L, negative 14, but let's talk about 14. What is the possibilities for 14? 14, 1, right? So let's try what first? Okay, when we talk about the next section, remember, when we talk about this, we're going to put 7 first, 2 second. Does not matter. If it doesn't work, we'll switch them. We're going to switch them in the next section. Here, it doesn't matter. It works the way we have it. And only the reason why it works, because what's the coefficient of x to the 4th? 1. In the next section, it won't be a 1 anymore. It'll be a 2 or a 3 or a 4 and so on. But the idea is the same. Reverse FOIL. Trial and error. Last sign's negative. That means these signs in here are different. So let's check them out first. What's the outer? What's the inner? Okay. So the larger of these coefficients will take the middle sign. So that means 7 is going to be negative. That's going to be positive. Verified, though, I get that middle term. What is a negative 7x squared and a positive 2x squared? All right, and that's what I wanted. So so the terms are correct in the order they are. They're correct. I just got to put the correct sign. So what's this one? You agree? Yep. So if you did this instead, okay, you would have done the same thing like this. You would have said 7x squared, 2x squared. Yeah, that would be positive, that would be negative. So this would have been plus, this would have been minus. Yeah, and then really it kind of makes sense because multiplication is commutative. The order in which you multiply does not matter. X squared minus 7 times x squared plus 2 is the same as x squared plus 2 times x squared minus 7.
But in order for us to do the next section, and I'm not trying to skip ahead, is there a way that we should be getting used to doing it as far as putting the large number of
No, it's just trial and error.
Okay.
Trial and error. Doesn't work.
Because I've been using the trial and error. I just didn't want to confuse
Nope.
my brain later.
Nope, just trial and error. Okay, so now you should be able to do section 13.2. All right, now let's look at some problems with 13.3. Same idea, trial and error. All the procedures are the same. You look for the GCF, all that still applies. All that still applies. Okay, so let's look at number 8. Number 8. So this is going to be on page 983, section 13.3. Number 8. You have 3x squared plus 8x plus 4. Same process. What's the what's the GCF? 1. All right, trinomials, we'll go directly to 2 binomials. 2 binomials. All right. Now, the only difference between this one and the previous one was that when we did the previous one, we just wrote x times x. Because that was just an x squared before. Now it's a 3x squared. So you got to come up with two possibilities. That's a 3x squared. Come on. 3x and what? Just x, right? 3x and x. All you're doing is FOIL, right? Don't make it difficult. What times what's 3x squared? 3 is prime. There's only one possibility. 3x and x. All right, let's do the last. Just like before. 4. 4, 1, 2, 2. Let's try the numbers close together in the number line. Let's try what? 2, 2. So let's put the 2 here, 2 here. Last sign's positive. That's the easy kind. That means these signs in here are the same, so I can go directly and put them in. What are the signs? Positive. Okay, so that's where I'm at. Now, before you go on, you better check your work, check to make sure that's correct. FOIL. 3x squared times 3x times x squared is 3x squared. The outer is 6x. Not 6x squared. 6x. The inner is 2x, and the last is 4. When I combine like terms, I get 3x squared. What else? Plus 8x, and then what? Plus 4, and that's what you wanted. So here's your answer. So in the blank, you're going to put what? 3x plus 2 times x plus 2. Someone else could have said x plus 2 times what? 3x plus 2. Okay? Same thing. Trial and error. What was that? What's your question? Okay. All right. It's the same as before. Nothing's different in terms of the process.
I guess my question is, I thought before, like the one right before, the one we did before, the -7 and the +2 equal the -5x squared.
Okay.
So what about this 8x?
The side, well, it equals 8x. The outer is positive 6x. The inner is a positive 2x. 6x plus 2x is 8x.
And you fold it back together.
So you have to include the first.
You do the first, you separate it by your 2, and then you fold it back together to get your answer the first.
You're falling to check your work to make sure it's correct.
Yeah, I just,
That's how you know it's right.
In the I'm not sure if maybe this little part here is confusing you. I mean, I didn't really foil this thing out. I just looked at the outer end to make sure we got that, because in my mind, x squared times x squared is what? X to the 4th. -7 times 2 is what? -14. Here is where we're verifying to make sure we got that -5x squared, the outer and the inner. So the same thing here. The outer is 6x, the inner is 2x, and that's what I wanted, 8x. All right, 10. All right, 10 is 21x squared minus 41x plus 10. 21x squared minus 41x plus 10. What's the GCF? 1. It's a trinomial, so I'm going to do 2 binomials. Okay, now listen carefully. The last one was pretty easy because this coefficient was prime here, and then this one was composite. Here, they're both composite. 21 and 10 are not prime. So it's a little bit more work, trial and error, but that's the process. FYL. Let's look at F first. I want 2 factors whose product is 21x squared. What are the possibilities of 21 first? 7, 3, 21, 1. What do you want to try first? 7, 3. It does not matter if you put 7x first or 3x first. It does not matter. Trial and error. Let's put 7x first, but it does not matter. Okay. Now, that takes care of the F. So far I'm okay, because 7x times 3x is what? 21x squared. So far, I'm good. Let's do the last. The last is 10. Well, the possibilities for 10. 110, 2, 5. Which one do you want to try? 2 and 5. Okay, now listen carefully. Trial and error. Let's put, I'm going to try and make sure it's incorrect. Let's put, hold on. Let's put the 2 here. Nope. Let's put the 5 here. 5 here, 2 there. Just go ahead and write it in. Write it in just like I'm doing. Okay? Whenever the last sign's positive, I can fill in the signs right away. Both of those have to be what? Negative. Now, the only thing I have not checked was the out and the inner. I got to check the out and the inner because I need the out and the inner to add up to be what? Negative 41x. What is the outer? What is the inner? When I add them up, what do I get? Is that what I wanted? No. So that order is not correct. Okay? So now what you're going to think is, well, instead of putting the 5 and 2 where they are, let's switch them. Okay? Or you could have said, instead of putting 7x and 3x where they were, let's switch them. All right? But switch one of them. Switch either the first or the last and see if that works. If that doesn't work, try something else. The more you do, the better you get at this. Okay, you'll be able to visualize it in your mind what it should be. All right, so which one do you want to switch, the first or the last terms? First? All right. So you're going to say 3x minus 5 and then what? Minus 2. So all I did was switch the first terms. All right. We still have to check down the inner. What's the outer this time? That's a 7. What's the outer? What's the inner? When I add them up, what do I get? And that's what you wanted. So there's your answer. So the answer is 3x minus 5 times 7x minus 2. Or someone else, remember we said you could have switched the second terms? So someone else could have said 7x minus 2 times what? 3x minus 5. Okay? Trial and error. That's all it is. So if you could do what we did last class period, then you can do this. Just trial and error, reverse FOIL. Number 12. Number 12. All right, number 12, you have 36r squared minus 5r minus 24. 36r squared minus 5r minus 24. All right, trial and error. If something doesn't work, try something else. What's the GCF? What? So we go directly to 2 binomials since this is a trinomial. Reverse FOIL. Okay, so let's do the F first. What two things multiplied together is 36r squared? There are several possibilities. List them first. List them. 6, 6. 12, 3. Say it again. 36, 1, yeah. What else? 9, 4. Okay, that's about it, I think. Oh, 2 and 18, right? 2 and 18. So there are quite a few possibilities. Again, let's try the yeah, some of you can see this right away. Let's just do 6 and 6 right now, because that's what we said, right? If now if you know it's 9, 4, and it is 9, 4, by the way, then use 9, 4. But if you're not sure, then choose the numbers close together, the number line, so 6 and 6. So this would be 6R, 6R, right? Okay, let's do 24. So that takes care of the F. Now let's do the L. What are the possibilities of 24?
4 and 6.
4, 6, 2, 12, 24, 1, right? And that's about it.
8 and 3.
8 and what?
8 and
Okay, thank you. 8 and 3. All right, now, here's the situation we're in. Listen to this, to what I'm about to tell you. And that's going to explain to you why we cannot use 6 and 6. If I put 8 and 3 in there, I put an 8 here and a 3 here. Okay? What does this binomial have in common? A 2, which means I can factor out a 2, which means the original problem, the GCF is 2. Is the GCF 2?
No.
GCF is what?
1.
So that means, and no matter which one I put in there, no matter which one of these I put in there, do y'all agree that I can take out a 2?
Yeah.
Because these are all what? Every pair is going to have what number in it? An even. And these two are both what? Even. So that means that I can factor out a 2 from here, which means the original is divisible by 2. I can factor out a 2. So that means I can't use 6 and 6. Cannot use 6 and 6. So I'm going to have to use what? Or the next set closer together. I'm going to have to use what? 9 and 4. All right, now listen to what I'm about to tell you. So again, put 9 first or second. Does not matter. You can put 4 first, 9 second. Does not matter. Trial and error. But did y'all understand the discussion a while ago? That's going to be important. You're going to see this quite often. Okay. Now, keep in mind, listen carefully. So I'm using 9 and 4, right? All of these have a pair, have one number that's what? Even. So I know I cannot put the even one here. You understand? Because if I did, then that means I can take out a 2, which means the original, I can take out a 2, and I can't. So that means that of all these 4 pairs here, I am going to try what pair? 8 and 3. 8 and 3. And that means that which one has to go here? 3. And what has to go here? 8. Okay? Notice the discussion. So go back and look at that video for the words again.
9R plus 8.
And I could not have put the 3 here to begin with, right? Because if I put the 3 here, that means I could take out a what? A 3, which means I could take out a 3 from the beginning. Okay. Now, the last sign is negative. That's where I do this. What's the outer? What's the inner? 32R. The larger of these takes the middle sign. So that has to be, and this has to be. There are 5 that I get the negative 5R. Do I get negative 5R? Yep. So my order is correct. I just got to put in the correct signs. What's this one? What's this one? Okay, in the blank, you're going to put 9R minus 8, 4R plus 3. Okay? And that's the thought process you go through. So that's why you always check for the GCF first. So when we get to this point, you're going to notice that the GCF, remember when we did these in the previous section, I said, what's this GCF here? You got to make sure that in parentheses, the GCF is a 1. What's the GCF? 1. What's the GCF? 1. Okay. Here, what's the GCF I'm pointing at? 2. What's this GCF? 3. Which meant the whole thing would have been a 6. 2 times 3 is 6, and it's not. 6 goes to 36, 6 goes to 24, but what's the issue? The 5 is the issue. 6 is not a factor of 5. Okay. Let's look at 18. So on my math lab, and I don't think I have something like this on the worksheet, but you're going to see it on my math lab. It's going to look like this. Y plus 8y squared minus 9. And all the problems we've done, if you look at all those trinomials, all those polynomials, they were all in what kind of order? Descending order. They're all in descending order, meaning remember when you descend, you go down. So meaning you go from larger exponent to smaller. It's not in descending order, so you need to put in descending order first. Put in descending order. So descending. So what are you going to write first? 8y squared plus y minus 9. So that's where we're at. Okay. What's the GCF? 1. Okay, so then we go directly to the two binomials. FYL. Let's do the F first. So 8y squared, what are the possibilities? There's only 2 possibilities. 8, 1, 4, 2, right? So what do you want to try first? 4 and 2? Okay, let's try 4 and 2. So let me write it out first. 8, 1, 4, 2. Okay, so we'll try 4y, 2y. Let's go through the L. There's only 2 possibilities for 9. 3, 3, 9, 1, right? What do you want to try? You want to try 9, 1? 3, 3? Okay, so far I'm okay. So the F works out, the L works out, but I got to do the on the inner. And the last sign's negative. If the last sign's negative, 1's negative, 1 is positive. To determine that, do the on the inner. What's the outer? Well, but just tell me what it is here first before we put in the signs. 12y, right? What's the inner? 6y. The large of these takes the middle sign. So 12, positive 12y, and this has to be negative. But does that work? No. Because I add them up, I get 6y. What do I want? Y. Switching to 3 and the 3 is not going to work because it's the same. Switching to 4 and the 2 is not going to work because the last are the same. You understand? So instead of trying the 4 and the 2, what do you think you may want to try? 8 and 1. Let's try 8 and 1. Trial and error. See that? So that's not going to work. Do you understand that switching 4y and 2y doesn't work because the last terms are still the same? All right. So let's try 8 and 1 instead. So 8y, y. What about the last? You want to keep it 3 and 3? Or you want to switch to 9 and 1? You can look at it and see that 3, 3 does or does not work. Yeah. Do y'all see that 3, 3 is not going to work? Yeah, because look, if you put 3 here, just your mind, think about it. Put a 3 here, that's 24, right?
That's right.
And the inner is going to be 3. You have to subtract it because the last sign's negative. There's no way, because 3 from 24 is what? 21. What'd you want? 1. You understand what I'm doing? Okay, so you can do this in your mind. So you have to try what? 9 and 1. Now be strategic. Where do you think the 9 would go? The inside or the outside? Inside. Because if you put it on the outside, 9 times 8 is what? 72. 1 times y is 1y. There's no way you can get a y. You'll get a 71 when you subtract them. So where do you think the 9 is going to go? Inside. Where do you think the 1's going to go? Outside. You see the thought process? That's all it is.
8y plus 9y minus 1.
Yeah, so the last sign's negative, so one has to be positive, one has to be negative. To help you with that, do this. You don't have to, but it may help. So the 9y is going to be positive, right? And the 8y is going to be negative, and when I add them, I do get a positive y, which is what I wanted. So the order is correct now, and I just got to put the sign. So it'll be 8y plus 9 and y minus 1. Okay, so that'll be your answer. 8y plus 9, y minus 1. So notice the thought processes as we go through this. Okay, number 20. Number 20. We have 8x squared minus 14xy plus 3y squared. So 8x squared minus 14xy plus 3y squared. All right. Last section you had two variables, just like this. It's just at this time the coefficient of x squared is not 1 anymore. What's the GCF? 1. So let's go to two binomials. Reverse FOIL. All right, F, what are the possibilities for 8x squared?
4x and 2x.
Yes, 8, 1, 4, 2. What do you want to try? 4, 2?
Sure.
Okay, so 4x, 2x. You could put the 2x first or the 4x first. Does not matter. So that takes care of the F. So far we're okay. Now the L is easy because that's prime. 3 is prime. There's only one possibility. 3 and 1. Where do you put the 3? Right here? Okay. And then the 1 here. So it's actually, so I'll put the 3. It's not 3. It's what? 3y. Good. 3y. And that's just y, right? Okay. Then the last sign's positive, so that's easy. I can easily fill in the signs now. They're both going to be what? Negative. Am I done? No, you got to check. The outer and the inner. My F and L are fine. Is the outer and the inner? I got to check. What is the outer? Negative, right? What's the inner? When I add them up, what do I get? Is that what I wanted? No. So maybe switching the first terms or switching the last terms. What do you want to try? Switch the first terms? Doesn't matter because you get the same answer. So instead of saying 4x minus 3, let's say what? I'm sorry, instead of saying 4x minus 3y, let's say... No, I'm just switching. I'm just switching for right now. I'm just switching the terms. So instead of saying switching the terms, I asked you, I said, do you want to switch the 4x into 2x, or do you want to switch the 3y and the y? You said first terms. So instead of putting... Thank you. So you can say 2x what? Minus 3y times what? 4x minus y. Now let's check. What's the outer?
2xy.
Negative 2xy. What's the inner?
Negative 12xy.
Does that work? Yes, you get negative 14xy. So there's your answer. Okay? All right, so there's your answer right here. All right, let's look at 24. You have negative 7x, that's a 7, negative 7x plus 12 plus x squared.
You write your problem.
Say again?
Usually write your problem.
Okay, what's that order called? Descending order. So how do I write it?
Negative 7x.
X squared.
X squared minus 7x plus 12. So the constant is always last. Now that actually came from the previous lesson, because remember that coefficient of x squared is 1? All right, so trial and error. GCF is 1 though, right? Trial and error. You can look at this and tell me what's going to work. XX definitely, but what about the 12? Would you think 4, 3, 6, 2, or 12, 1?
4 and 3.
4 and 3. 4 and 3 will work, and they're both going to be negative. That's correct. See, some of this you can do in your head very easily, but make sure you double check the outer and the inner. The outer is negative 3x. The inner is negative 4x, and you want that negative 7x. Okay? So there's your answer. So x minus 4 times x minus 3. And 34. Okay, you have 42a squared minus 43a plus 6. That's an a. So 42a squared minus 43a plus 6. GCF? 1. So 2 binomials. Okay, 42. So 7, 6, 2, 21, 3, and 14. And that's about it, I think.
2 and 21 is gonna work.
Say it again?
2 and 21.
You think 2 and 21? So you want to try 2a, 21a?
Yeah.
What about 6?
Let's try 6 and 1
Where you can put the 6?
on the first one.
Nope. See, she already forgot. You put the 6 here. You put the 6 here, that means you can take out a 2.
Yeah.
Y'all agree?
Yeah, so put the
Okay.
1 right there and then the 6 at the end.
Nope. What do you know you can take out of 21 and 6?
3.
A 3.
So it won't work.
So 6 and 1 won't work for 6. Say it again?
2 and 3.
2 and 3? Where you can put the 2?
The 21.
Yep.
Yep.
Where you can put the, let me do this, just to show you. So that was a 2 here, and then they 3 here. Last sign's positive. They're both negative. But notice what happens. This is negative 4a. This is what? Negative 63a. That's too much. So the 2 and the 21, I wouldn't try. You forgot to do what we said. If you're not sure, try the closest numbers first. So let's try what first? 7 and 6. Let's try that first. You try that first if you're not sure. If you can't see it right away, then do the numbers close together on the number line. Okay, now let's talk about 6. What do you want to try? 6, 1 or 3 and 2? 3. You want to do 6, 1? Okay. Where are you going to put the 6? With the 7. It has to go with the 7. You can't put it with this other 6a, because that means you can take out a 6. Outer? Oh, the last signs are both going to be, I mean, the signs are both going to be negative. What's the outer? Negative. What's the inner? Negative 36a. When I add them up, do I get a negative 43? Yep, so 6 and 1 did work. 3 and 2 would not have worked. Okay, now some of you would have tried 3 and 2, you would have saw that was going to work, so then you would have tried 6 and 1. Okay, so do you see that some of you may have to do more, if you would not have probably gotten it at this point, you would have had to do something, a couple more steps to get it? All right, we just so happen to do it in the third trial. Okay, trial and error, that's all that is. All right, let's look at 42. 42. You have 12x squared minus 14x minus 10. All right, what do you want to do? GCF is 2. GCF is 2. Now, if you forgot, remember we did some problems in a previous lesson where we suppose we forgot the GCF? You can forget about the GCF right now, but when you do the factoring, you'll be able to take out a common factor. All right, but it's always easier to take out the GCF at the beginning. So what's the GCF? 2. So 2 times, and what's left? Okay, so now let's go ahead and factor this trinomial now. 6x squared minus 7x minus 5. The last one's 5, so that's easy. There's only one possibility. But 6, what do you want to try? 3 and 2? So 3x, 2x. All right, where do you want to put the 5? If it doesn't work, you're going to switch them. In the front, so 5, 1. Last sign's negative. That means the signs are different, so let's do this first. What's the outer? What's the inner? The larger of these takes the middle sign, so 10x has to be negative. The 3x has to be positive. When I add them up, do I get that negative 7x? So the order's correct. I just need the correct sign. So this is what? And this is positive. But what's the answer? 2 times 3x minus 5, 2x plus 1. Okay? Now I want to show you something. It is possible that you're going to get caught up in all this and you're going to forget about the GCF. So you can go directly to factoring the two binomials. Let's see what happens if you do that. Just to show you, if you do that, just correct yourself at the end. So this is 42 at the start. Now this is a correct procedure. You should always do the GCF first. But let's suppose you forgot about it. Go directly to binomials. What times what is 14x squared? I'm sorry, I didn't mean 14x squared. I meant 12x squared. 6 and 2, right? And there's 4 and 3 and all that. You want to try 6 and 2 first? So 6x, 2x. Give me two numbers whose product is 10.
2 and 5.
2 and 5. All right, now listen carefully. This is where if you're not careful, you're gonna mess up. You're gonna say, all right, I'm gonna put the 5 here to 2 here, and then you're gonna say, well, wait a minute, we just had a discussion that I can't do this because then that means I can take out a 2.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that should help you because that means that you can do what here? Take out a 2, which you could. But let's continue on with this. Let's continue with this. Let's leave it in that order, see what happens. What's the outer? 12x. What's the inner? 10x. The larger of these takes the middle sign. But when I add them up, I get what? Negative 2x. So that's not correct. So let's switch the 5 and the 2 instead. Okay? Let's see what happens. You see what I did? Let's switch the 5 and the 2. All right, let's do it again. What's the outer? What's the inner? Larger of these takes the middle sign. But that doesn't work either, right? Okay? So that means that maybe 6 and 2 is not the one that worked. Maybe I should use what instead? 4 and 3. In fact, maybe we should have done that at the beginning since that was close together in the number line, right? Okay, so let's do the 4 and the 3. And for our 10, let's do 5 and 2 again. Where do we put the 2? With the 3? Okay, where do you put the 5? With the 4? Okay, let's check down the inner. What's the outer? What's the inner? 15x takes the middle sign, but that doesn't work either because that's negative 7x. So that didn't work. So now instead, let's switch the 5 and the 2. Switch the 5 and the 2. Okay, let's do this now. What's the outer? What's the inner? 20x takes the middle sign. When I add them up, now what do I get? Which is what I wanted. So the order's correct. The order's correct. I'm going to put in the sign. So this is going to be what? Plus, this is going to be what? Now here's your mistake. If you did all this and you say that's the answer, you're not going to get full credit. because you got to make sure that each of these factors, the GCF is 1. Each of those factors is prime. This is prime. GCF is what? 1. This is not. What's the GCF? 2. So that means I can take out a 2. So that means the answer is going to be 2 times what? 2x plus 1. Good. Times 3x minus 5. See, that's why it's easier to do what at the beginning. Take out the GCF at the beginning. Okay? If you don't take out at the beginning, first of all, the factors, the pairs, the coefficients are larger, so you have more possibilities to try. All right, let's look at 36. 36, you have 3n squared plus 20n plus 5. All right. GCF? What? So 2 binomials. There's only one possibility of 3n squared. What do you want to try? 3n and n. There's only one possibility for 5. What do you want to try? 5 and 1. Where do you want to put the 5? The first parenthesis or the second? Second. And the 1 at the first. Last sign's positive, so that's a good one. Because that means I can put in the signs right away. What are the signs? Positive. Okay. So I'm done. There's the answer. Shame on y'all.
No.
You're supposed to say, no, you're not done. You didn't check. No, the outer is 15n. The inner is what? N. When I'm up, I get 16n. Even if you switch them, it wouldn't work. Very good. The answer is prime. So it's not factorable. So you'd say prime. Prime. Okay? Answer is prime. So none of these work. But here you get 3n, 15n, that's 18n. So there's no way you'll be able to factor this as 2 binomials. So you say prime. Okay, you write the word prime. Okay, so we're going to finish this section next time. So I want you to get started on some of those worksheets, though, so you can help each other. So let me show you what the worksheets are. So this is 13.3a. Now, what worksheets are due next class period?
13.2c, 13.1 part F, and
So there's 3 of them?
no, that's
4.
4? Okay, so you can work on that or you can work on this. But here's 13.3a. Let me just show you what it looks like. So it says, factor each trinomial completely. Make sure you're using reverse FOIL. Do not use any other method. And because what I mean by that is, in one of the future sections, there's something called the AC method. It's good to know both of them. But for the most part, when I do these trial and error. I don't use the AC method, although you need to know it. So I don't want you to use, some of you may already know the AC method. Don't use the AC method. I need for you to do reverse FOIL. So I also need you to check your answer using FOIL. So that's where we did the out, the inner, first and last. Okay, so in other words, if you're saying in your blank that this is wrong answer, but if you're saying it's 2x plus 1 times 3x plus 5, okay, then I need for you to check. So you're going to say 2x squared, what's the outer? 10x? What's the inner? 3x, and what's the last? 5. And then you're going to say this right here is what? 13x. So before you do that, though, make sure that, there's some work you have to do on another sheet of paper, okay? Because you're going to put the right answer here, and you're going to put the correct first, outer, and inner, last here. Just make sure it's correct, okay? Because then what's going to happen is you're going to cross all this out. You're going to do a lot of erasing. So do the work on another sheet of paper. Put the correct answer here with first, outer, inner, last here. Okay? All right. Don't forget, there's a back part. So that's part A. All right. Part B is this. Here's part B. This is the one where you can take out the GCF first. Notice you don't have to check. You don't have to check. You can do the work somewhere else. Put the answer here. But notice the GCF is something other than 1 in some of these cases. Okay? Don't forget there's a back. None of them are prime. They're all factorable. So that's A and B. Okay. All right, so 13 would be, okay. So there's a C. Let me just show you what it is. Just practice on this. Actually, let me give you this. Let me give you the C next time, because at the bottom it says factor -1, which you already know how to do from a previous worksheet, but we'll continue working on this section and I'll give you C. So I'm going to give you A and B. So you have 4 worksheets that are due Thursday, right? These are due Tuesday. So you have 6 altogether. Does not matter which ones you're working on. Work with other people if you need to. All right, so here's A and B. Here's the A. Here's the B. Okay, now on Canvas, just listen carefully to this. So now, if you look at your study guide, on your study guide, is anything from 13.3 on the study guide? No. So your study guide, this section right here is going to be on test 2. Make sure you... Okay, so when you go to modules, right now we're working on factoring. So here's factoring. So I forgot to even turn these on. So we did 6.2. Now we're starting on 6.3. Okay. The AC method, see this AC method? We're going to start looking at that next class period, and the special factoring next class period. So what's going to happen is this Tuesday, I won't be here Tuesday. So I'll let you know Thursday which of these sections I'm going to have you watch the video on. So it'll either be one of these, but whichever one it is, you're going to go here, and they're the videos. Okay, so those are the ones. So rather than me being here, you're going to watch this. But where are you going to go to watch those videos? Canvas. But I will let you know Thursday which ones to look at. And here's the special factoring. So in the special factoring, you have what's called the difference of 2 squares, difference of 2 cubes, sum of 2 cubes, and so on. Now that usually takes 2 days, so I'm just going to ask you to maybe watch 1 or 2 of those videos. Okay?
So we don't report the class next Tuesday?
No, but that doesn't mean you go and have fun. You're gonna be at home watching videos.
What about our worksheets that are due on Tuesday?
You're gonna turn them in Thursday.
Okay.
It's still gonna say Tuesday, but you'll turn it in Thursday. All right. Okay, so you have 6 worksheets. Start working on some of them. Still have 15 minutes.
And what day is our test on?
The 26th. Now it's kind of late this time, but that's because I won't be here Tuesday.
Okay, that's what we're trying to figure out, so no class this week.
This Tuesday, no, you'll be watching videos instead at home.
Okay.
These will be due on Thursday, the ones that.
Yeah. Yeah, on Canvas it's still going to say Tuesday, but you're going to turn it in Thursday.
Which is the 21st.
Girl, don't make that a habit.
This the first time.
It's the first time? Okay. All right.
I know my other teachers are saying, I'm not we're off Monday and Tuesday.
Just Monday and Tuesday, that's it.
Okay. It's what, the third and the fourth?
If you go to if you go to BRCC,
I don't know.
no, go to BRCC, you go to
Oh, wait, I think it's on.
right here, go academics, academic calendar.
The practice homework.
Mardi Gras is the 4th and the 5th. So the Monday and Tuesday.
Next Thursday?
Turn it right there.
Just to make sure.
21st.
All you wanted was the GCF first.
Nope. Supposed to factor it.
Oh.
So 2.6 is due.
Factor out the GCF. It didn't say what is the GCF. It says factor out the GCF. So you better quickly fix it. I mentioned that when I gave it out to y'all.
I have one test. It wasn't 4 months. I have one.
This is yours, Josh. No, 4 is the next class period.
So when is this one?
A week from today. Oh, so. Everybody can get out.
Yeah, on Canvas, that one says it's due next class period, this Thursday.
Just the way.
I printed it out because I was confused by the.
I need to write this down.
Okay, so let's talk about what's due the next class period. Let's go to Canvas. Okay, so you go to assignments. Go to assignments. All right, I gave you quite a few things today. I forgot about the beginning of class. I gave you 3 things at the beginning of class, remember?
Right.
I gave you 3 things at the beginning of class, then I gave you 2 more at the end. So let's see what's due. Okay, so today is the 12th. All right, so the 14th, 13.1 part F.
Yes, we have.
That's that grouping. 10.6 part E. I really want you to turn that in Thursday because that's easy. It's very short. You can do it. Okay. I gave you that win. Beginning of class.
So you want that one Thursday?
Yeah. Go ahead and turn that in Thursday. Okay. The one I just gave you today. It's very easy. You can do it.
That was 10.6 part E.
10.6 part E. What's 13.2 Part A?
That's the trinomials. We had to factor the
I gave you that last time?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so 13.2 Part A I gave you last time. Okay. What's 13.2 Part B?
Yeah, that 8 questions.
That it gave last time? What about Part C? Last time? Okay. So then last time I gave y'all 4 then, right?
4, yes.
Okay.
So we'll have 5 due now.
Yeah. I really want y'all to do 10.6 for next class period.
So that'll make 5.
So it'll be 5,
Yes.
okay? And then the 19th, which will really be the 21st. Those are the ones I gave y'all today, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
13.3A, 13.3B, and then the 2
We don't have
practice.
C, we just have 13.
So that'll
Oh, I
leave
didn't give
us-
you C, that's right.
Yeah,
So-
that'll leave us with only 4.
So I didn't give you C.
No. We have A and D.
And then the practice test is those days.
So only the greens that are checked, that one's not, the C's not checked there because I didn't give it to you.
Yeah, we have the 2 practice and then A and B.
That's the one turning today?
I believe so, yeah.
What was that?
And 13.1 is today, right?
No,
13.1.
13.1F was due
It's not due till Thursday.
Thursday.
I don't have it.
What was due today is, there are only 2 due today, 13.1D and 13.1E.
It does. It looks like the other one.
I'm a further in it.
Okay.
You can sit in before Friday. So 13.1A and B.
Everything you turned in, I graded, so you didn't turn it in.
I must have turned it in today.
Oh,
'Cause I have
may want to check if you're not sure.
I have D, E, and F is listed as turning in today. Cause I'm right on the top.
Yeah.
13.1 on that, Joshua turned it in. 13.1 F, Joshua.
Because I paid attention.
Okay, do you ever notice that girl in front of me dances in class? She dances in class, the girl that sits in front of me.
I did it wrong.
Oh, you have that?
Yes.
I never noticed her dancing. She just gets up and starts dancing.
Well, no, she just sits in her chair
Oh.
dancing.
She doesn't do
No,
music?
she has headphones in her ears.
Oh,
He's not on here.
Okay.
Why did I change it?
13.1 E, 13.1
I did it over here.
I guess that's her only way of getting through this.
I am. 13.1 F. Okay, I turned it in. D, E. Tiffany, you turned D, E, F in, and 13.2 A, B, and C.
Right.
Okay, so I'll turn it in. That's all
Because
that matters.
y'all said you were turning in a lot today. That's what y'all told me.
Well, I just turned in 6 pages, so it was a lot.
I'm just gonna hold on to them because it makes me, it throws me off when I turn them in early, so I'm just gonna keep them.
When I get the time to actually sit down and work on it, it's like, I just
So do you think you
fly
can?
through all of it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't fly, but I mean, I work on every single bit of it, because I don't know when I'm gonna be able to sit.
I don't know, like, I, yeah. You guys do that? Yeah.
Where it goes, but I don't turn it.
It throws me off. I don't have anything to turn in.